Good evening and welcome to the Trading the Tech Show. My name is Derek and this is iLi Academy. Today is Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. And looking at the market today, the Dow was off 81.52 points. We closed at 34,312.46. First day in, 4 days that we have closed lower. So we had 3 consecutive days of closing higher, and now we are closing. Now we have closed lower. So the momentum that we had, I guess, last night from about three or the day before yesterday, um, or yeah, before well, the session before our last session here today was um, that last half hour or so where we were falling kind of continued on into today, but we're still above 34,300. So in general, we're just still floating above what has seems to be like a support for us, a support level, which is the 34,000 level. So you can see the day, it wasn't super terrible. The market did jump up to about 34,500 to begin the day, but that was very short lived. It bounced, it started to trail right off throughout the morning. Got a little bit of a bounce before lunch, but not for very long. And then for the rest of the day, somewhere during the lunch hour, it began to just trail off to the downside. So we're going to see a lot of this as we reach these highs and these levels here. We're going to see a lot of this where we're going to have some up and down days. So that's nothing that will be out of the ordinary. So it's down. It was down 0.25%, so or 24% actually. So not very much, a quarter of a percentage point down today. 81 points. It's not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. The S&P 500 was down 8.92 points, down 41 to 4188.13. Our NASDAQ was off just 4 points to 13,657.17, which is very minuscule as well. The Russell 2000 was down 21.59 points to 2205.75. So pretty much across the board, it wasn't a horrible down day. It's just the sellers kind of took over and they were able to win. You look at our VIX. Our VIX did jump up 0.44 points to 18.84 points there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our charts here and find out what exactly is showing up as opportunities for us tonight that we can use to begin to start to take some orders. So I'm looking here at the Aussie CAD on our 30-minute chart as normal, and we can see that the rate and all the moving averages are trading below our 720 moving average, which is just starting to peak out here in the top of our screen here. And we can see that the rate is pushing up right now. We've got a nice little green candle pushing well above our 200 moving average here. So our first opportunity to trade is going to be on that 200 moving average, which is sitting right here, right about where our 8 is sitting as well at the 93.53 mark. That's our first opportunity. And then we have our 50 and our 100 down here a little below 93.50, where we can place our sell stop orders. As far as our Aussie yen goes, we're trading rate right now below our 720. All the moving averages are below the 720 as well. So our preferred direction is going to be to the downside here. We're getting a nice little push above our 200 moving average right now. You can see it the rate kind of jumping up, a little bit of strength there. But we can short on this 200 now because we've got a little bit of space there that allows us to do that. Our 200 is sitting here right around 84.39 or so. That's our first option. And then we have the 50 and the 100 down here as well that we can use for our entries as well, right around the 84.35 mark or so. As far as the Aussie New Zealand goes, we traded heavily to the downside here. We see that we are trading below our 720 here. All the moving averages are in order to the downside. So the downside is our preferred direction here. So any pullbacks past our 50, past our 100 would have been opportunities to short. But since the 200 has crossed below the 720, which was kind of right at the beginning of the day yesterday, we kind of crossed below that 720, we started to create some separation between the moving averages, but we didn't ever retreat right past the 50 or past the 100 in order um, to make that an opportunity for us to short. We just didn't get the opportunity there, and that's perfectly fine. That's the way it goes sometimes. But this move may exhaust itself, and if it does, then it should pull back at some level. As far as the Aussie US goes, kind of going the opposite direction, we're getting a little bit of a push there in the opposite direction. We're trading right now above our 720. We can see where the 720 is sitting right now. Definitely pushing above that. All the moving averages, though, are below the 720. So our preferred direction is still to the downside here. And so we are sellers here. These moving averages look to be within 10 pips. Our 100, which is the lowest moving average, is at 77.51. Our 720s at 77.57. So all of them are within the 10 pips of the 720. So we're not going to short there. We need at least 10 pips before we would short on the Aussie US. So we're going to recognize direction here, but we're not going to place an order here that's going to give us the opportunity to trade here just yet. So let's take a look here. As far as the CAD yen goes, we're trading now. Let's see, let me do this real quick here. Modify that order real quick. Okay, so as far as the CAD yen goes, we're trading well above our 720 here. We see that all the moving averages are above the 720, so the upside is our preferred direction. And so now we're trading below our long-term moving averages. So our opportunity to trade is going to be on our 200 or on our 100 or 50, which are kind of in the same area here, right around this 93.21 area, 90.21, 90.23 area. That's going to be where our buy is. You can see that we do have a buy order here represented by this green dotted line right now. That's giving us the opportunity to trade in to the upside. As far as the Swiss yen goes, we're trading above our 720 here. All the moving averages are above the 720. Right now, we see that we're pulling, we had pulled back a little bit towards the 100 here at the beginning of trading today. However, the spread would have been so wide that we probably wouldn't have been able to place an order on that 50 just yet. So we'd have to wait until we get a pullback really to our 100 again, or past past the 50, past the 100, in order maybe to drop an order on this 50 without it being, akin to a market order. So we'll hold out for that and see what we get there. As time goes on. As far as the Euro Aussie goes, the Euro Aussie, we saw the Australian dollar kind of showing some strength there. Everything except for the Aussie New Zealand, of course, and so the New Zealand must be showing some level of strength at this point in time. So what we're seeing now is a pullback for the Euro versus the Aussie. It's pulled back here between our 100 and our 200. And so, but we're above our 720 here. And so we're going to be buyers at this level. So we can buy on our 100 or on our 50. We have the ability to place orders there. So these pullbacks are giving us some nice opportunities to trade right at this moment. As far as the Euro CAD goes, we're trading right above our 720. However, the long-term moving average 100 and the 200 are still below the 720. The 200 sitting at 147.38. The 720s at 147.48. So we're just at 10 pips below the 720 for the 200. So we can place an order here to sell short, but there's not going to be any improvement on it because it's right at our 10 pip threshold. Okay. So let's take a look here. Euro Swiss, we're trading below our 720 here. All the moving averages are below the 720 as well. And so we are sellers here. However, right now where rate is sitting, it's sitting right on top of our 100, which would be our last option to trade here as far as trading a sell stop. And so we don't have a trade here right now because we're pushing below that level. Now, had we traded on one of these moving averages, the 50, 200, or the 100, we'd pretty much be getting ready to go profitable here. because earlier in the evening it traded up here towards our 720. And yesterday it actually traded well above the 720 about halfway through the day, kind of traded above the 720. So we could have shorted on any one of these moving averages. And, if we're improving that, then we'd be pretty much looking to profit then. So as far as the euro pound goes, we're trading above our 720 here. All the moving averages are in order to the upside, and we have a mature trend to the upside as well because all the moving averages are in order. So with the 200 jumping over the 720, our direction has changed to the upside for the euro pound. So we're waiting on pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100 to buy. And those are going to give us opportunities to trade. All right. As far as the euro yen goes, we are trading. Let's see here. We're trading above our 720. So we scrolled out even, and we can see that all the moving averages are above the 720 here. Trend pretty much is to the upside, but the 8 is below our 21. So we won't say a full trend at this point in time or like a mature trend, but we do have trend to the upside, and we've got a lot of real estate between our 200 and our 720. So our pension is going to be to the upside. We've pulled back here to the 50. The bid's sitting right kind of on the 50 right now, but we're going to have to pull down lower. Earlier in the half hour or so, and for about the last hour or so, we've been trading down here below the 50. So we could have dropped an order on the 50. We just would have executed that just about now. But if that was too close for you, then you'll have to wait until we pull back closer to our 100 to make our buy. As far as the Euro New Zealand goes, we're trading now. You can see that the New Zealand is very strong. We had a rate statement tonight at 11. So this is one reason why this is so strong for us right now. The Euro New Zealand now has fallen down below our 720. However, all of the moving averages are well above the 720, all of them, even the 8. So we're not going to get caught in this move to the downside here. We know that this is going to retreat at some point back to the upside. And so we don't want to get caught in the fever of what we see on the chart here and thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be something that's going to, give us an opportunity to trade to the south here. We definitely know that the overall direction is to the upside. And so we don't want to get caught chasing this move to the downside here. Okay. So we're buyers at the at any of the long-term moving averages here. They're well above our 720. It's going to take a little while for that to come back here, but we can be confident in the move back to those levels at some point because of the fact that we've got this particular situation where it's just the rate statement that caused this move down. This is why we size our positions correctly as well. So when you get a spike like this, it doesn't destroy the account. A lot of individuals right now probably got caught flat-footed with that. And there's a lot of traders that wouldn't even know that there's a rate statement coming because they're not in tune to the fundamentals at all. And so they won't even recognize that this is a possibility. And so they just look at it and go, oh, wow, I'm getting crushed on this particular trade. And they wouldn't even really have a clue as to why they're experiencing that in this particular, for this particular situation. And that's not good. It's definitely not good to be aware of what's, not to be aware of what's happening in your, fundamentally, and aware that this can occur. And then they're not sizing their position correctly, so they get crushed in the market, right? So, in looking here, we're going to see what the Euro US is doing. The Euro US is pretty calm. So just because one euro pair is, since it's paired with the New Zealand dollar and it's moving very a lot, doesn't mean that the euro is going to be moving a lot. And so that's why we have such a big movement on the euro New Zealand, because the euro is not really moving a lot. It's just that New Zealand that's causing the movement in those pairs. So if we look at the Euro US trading above our 720 here, all the moving averages are above the 720 here. The 8 is sitting right on top of the 21. We almost have a full mature trend to the upside here. We have to wait till we get pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100 to make our buys. yesterday we kind of got that. We did trade down here for a short time close to the 100, so we could have dropped an order on this 50 if we were alert and placed an order to buy there at the end of the trading day. As far as the pound Aussie goes, we're trading above our 720. All the moving averages are above the 720. Because it's Australian dollar, it's getting a little bit of a push down right now, but our opportunities really to the upside. So we can trade on any of these moving averages long term, which is going to be our 50, our 200, or our 100. So this is presenting, that's going to present an opportunity to place our buy orders there. If these moving averages, if the rate continues to push down and these moving averages give us an opportunity, we may be able to go ahead and place an order there and catch some of these pips on the way back. But there's a lot of real estate between the 200 and the 720. So I don't believe that we're going to be changing to a downward move at this time. We're probably going to be moving more back to the upside. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and here. I'm going to scroll over here so I can see the rest of my charts. There we go. Pound Swiss, we're trading below our, we're trading well below the 720 here. And so we've got full mature trend to the downside as the moving averages are all below the 720 and in order. And so we're going to wait for pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100. Yesterday we got that. Like not too long after our show, we got a push back all the way to the 200. We could have dropped an order on our 50 or our 100, and any one of those orders would have been a nice profitable trade for us to the downside. As far as the that. Okay, so as far I've got some trades kind of happening, so some accounts I'm kind of managing things as I go here because with a rate statement we've got to kind of be on point here with it. We can't just allow it to trade. I still have to do my job while I'm doing the show as well, so I can do both. As far as the pound yen goes, we're trading above our 720 here. All the moving averages are above the 720. They're actually showing trend to the downside because the moving averages aren't ordered to the downside except for the 720. So, but we're still buyers here because it's above the 720. We know the overall directions to the upside. It's pulled back now and given us enough opportunity to go ahead and trade. We can trade on this 50, on the 100, or on the 200 and make our order there. We see that the algorithm actually pulled away as the rate pulled away from the 8, and we were below the 200 and we were above the 720. It dropped in a buy order for us because that's what it's trained to do. So that's why we have that buy order there. That's a different entry. That's the fourth entry, I believe, that we've set up. So there's 4 different entries that we have for this particular strategy that we can use. As far as the pound US goes, we're trading well above our 720 here. All the moving averages are in order to the upside here. You can see that we've just been bouncing back and forth here. So there's the opportunity for us maybe to bounce again and create another high again. So that's the probability because we're above our 720. All the moving averages are above the 720. And so we can be buyers on either the 50, which is real close right now, the 200 or the 100. So conservatively, the most conservative we could be is on this 100 at 141.54. It's only about 3 pips away from the current market. But since there's so much real estate between the 200 and our 720, I don't have any ideas of this changing to a downtrend at all. So I'd probably buy there, even though the distance is not so great. As far as the New Zealand CAD goes, you see that we've kind of skyrocketed here to the upside. And you can see that rate is trading above the 720 now. And all the moving average, though, are below the 720, right? So our long-term moving averages, especially, are below the 720. They haven't really budged. So when we're looking at this, we're going, okay, this is probably not going to, probably not going to turn out to be a move or a trend really to the upside. It's just reacting to the news right now. If the moving averages do eventually jump over the 720, then that's a change in direction. But until then, our preferred direction is to the downside. Okay? So we're not going to change what our preferred direction is until we actually see that occur. All right. New Zealand Swiss, same thing. So we see all the New Zealand's kind of benefiting here. New Zealand's, uh, because it's the base currency, it's jumping up above our 720 here for the New Zealand Swiss. The rate has, but all the moving averages are below the 720. So we're not going to get caught in this move to the upside. If we're benefiting from it right now, okay, fine. We're benefiting from it just because it's trading a nice rate for us. But at the same time, we're looking at this and going, okay, I'm not going to get caught in the move because I know that this is probably going to return back to the preferred direction, back to the overall trend. Once this exhausts and once the news kind of wears off, we're probably going to head back the other way. As far as the New Zealand yen goes, kind of the same thing. We actually were trading yesterday above our 720 here. We were trading above the 720 already. So now we're looking at it. Our 100 has jumped above our 720, and our 200 is not far behind. So we're going to kind of hold out and watch and see what happens here. Our preferred direction is really still to the downside because the 200 is below the 720. However, until it jumps over, we're not going to place an order to buy. Right now, this 200 is sitting at 78.46. The 720 is at 78.51. It's within my 10 pips, so I'm not going to short here I'm not going to place a short or a sell stop order here on my 200. It's within my 10 pips, too close to the 720. I just want to see what happens. Now it's time to wait and see if the 200 actually jumps over top of the 720. New Zealand Singapore dollar, you can see that we're trading well above our 720. Once again, all the moving averages pretty much are below the 720. The 8 looks like it's just hitting the 720 right now. The 21's not too far behind. All the other moving averages are really close to the 720 right now. So we're not going to place really our sell order there just yet. Okay, we're not going to place our sell order on those unless it was already there. This, our preferred direction is really still to the downside here because our long-term moving averages are to the downside. As far as the New Zealand US, last of our New Zealands, we're trading rate above our 720. Now the 200 already jumped above the 720 at the end of trading yesterday. So our pension is to the upside now. Our trading direction is to the upside here. So we got this nice push, and so had we traded maybe here yesterday when it traded down here to the 100, had we bought on the 50, we'd have a really nice trade kind of going on right now for us if we didn't get out of it. We'd have a really nice trade adding some pips for us as well. So not a bad deal at all for those long in the New Zealand pairs. This is definitely helping us here. For those of you that are not long New Zealand pairs, just be patient because a lot of, whatever you're losing right now, as long as you size that position correctly, you're probably going to get some of that back. I don't doubt that you're going to get a nice chunk of that back at some point in time. So let's take a look at the US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD right now is trading rate below our 720. We see that peeking out of the top of the screen here. All the moving averages are well below the 720. Our 200 has got a lot of real estate above it before you hit the 720. So we don't have any dreams of that, changing and going and turning into a trend to the upside. And so now we're shooting down below our 50 even. So we don't have an order here. We'll have to wait till we get a pullback. We had some pullbacks yesterday. We had one yesterday that was above even our 200. So we could have dropped an order on the 200. That would have been profitable. Or on the 50 or on the 100. Either one of those orders would be profitable for us right now. US dollar Swiss is trading below our 720 here. And so we are we're expecting movement to the downside here. We can see that we're already below all the moving averages as far as rates. So now we have to wait till we get pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100. Yesterday we did get this move back towards the 200, which would have allowed us to place an order to sell stop on our 100 or on our 50, and those orders would be profitable at this point. As far as the US dollar yen, we're trading rate below our 720. All the moving averages are in order to the downside, and so we're looking at waiting for pullbacks so that we can sell short on our 50 or our 100 level. Yesterday, we traded even well above our 720 here, so we could have just waited on the short there, and that would have been a really profitable trade for us if we had shorted on this 200. Even on the 100 or 50, we would have been placed into the order, and then pretty much right away, that would have been a profitable trade for us. So I'm gonna get out of here right now because I'm watching some positions and I'm doing some things here and adjusting some accounts and things like that right now. So it's important for me to kind of do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off the horn here and get to work for our clients. We've got some nice equity going and some of the accounts and things that are happening. So I want to jump off here and make sure that I take care of each of the clients who are working with us here. So once again, my name is Derek. You've been watching the Trading the Tech Show, and I wish you some great trading here. Have a great one. Bye bye.